Oh, this is pretty. Check this out. Alright, I'm trying to find a place that is quiet. It's kind of hard. This is why I want to live in the country, man. Because the noise pollution is just insane, no matter where you go. Even in mid-sized cities. It's obnoxious. Anyways, well, first off, May the 5th be with you. Cinco de Mayo. Feliz Cinco de Mayo a todos los mexicanos que están escuchándome. No sé si hay, pero está bien. I'm a little sad that I missed May the 4th, because, well, May the 4th be with you regardless, but it's okay. I was battling the dark side, so I was kind of busy. 2 videos I got in the works. One is I'm going to perform the IPP diaries again. I might do it outside. I'm not really sure if the weather has been really nice recently. A little bit chilly, like sweatshirt weather kinda, but I love that, because as long as it's sunny, it's good. Sky's blue too, so you can see. Most people are not wearing masks, as far as I can see. So you can see, very calm, very peaceful here. People are social distancing, as it were. Talking today. Not gonna talk in the park, but it's quiet enough around here, so I'm just gonna film around here about, well, first off, 2 videos that I'm going to do. Sorry, sir, I'm busy. Well, yeah, firstly, I wanted to talk about 2 videos that I'm plugging. Or collabing with soon is Dr. Cottrell. I'm going to be on his War Room pretty soon. So that will be cool. Don't know when. We just got to find a time when our schedules match up. Once we do, should be later this week, more than likely. Then we can do that, which would be super tight. Also, I'm going to re-perform the IPP diaries. Yeah, so as I said, I'm going to re-perform the IPP diaries, and just a couple of the chapters. But I wanted to talk today about the time I got jumped in college and what I learned from it. And what I learned from it will come after us, but first is a story. Actually, I'm gonna find somewhere to sit down. Talking today about the time that I got jumped in college. Under the shade of the tree as I tell my story. And the reason I'm telling this story is so it doesn't happen to other people. Because definitely the best way to avoid that situation is to prevent it. And an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, as our American polymath Benjamin Franklin once said. I was out and about, on a Saturday night, and I was DJing that night. I was a DJ in college. I DJ'd hip-hop, electronic, Diplo. I love Diplo. Anyways, I was set to go on at, I think it was 12:15. No, it was midnight. And it was 12:30, and I still wasn't on, as you might expect, for a house party, or a house show, as it was, because there was other people performing too. And so at this, I'm waiting around, and, it's like 12:30. I'm like, and I talked to the organizer of the show, and he's like, yeah, sorry, man. I was like, I understood. These things happen at house shows. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go grab some food. And State Street was nearby. It's like 5-minute walk, if that. Yeah, it was like 5-minute walk. I was down by the lake shore. Not lake shore dorms, but down by the lake, near there. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a burger. And it's kind of funny. I was walking with somebody, and it probably wouldn't happen if he walked with me all the way. Okay, so as I'm leaving the house, I bump into one of my musician buddies, and he's a trombone player. And so he's like, what's up, chit-chat a sec. I was like, hey, I'm about to go eat, you want to come? And he's like, sure. And so we start walking towards State Street, and we get to Langdon, which is Frat Row. At UW-Madison. So where all the Greek life students have their fraternity houses and sororities and all that, like, they're all on Langdon Street. And I was crossing Langdon, and I remember I was wearing a red Adidas, it was a Wisconsin Badgers athletic kind of track jacket. It was like a windbreaker, but it had a hood on it. It was tight. It was super tight. I still have it, but I don't know. Oh, it's in Europe. So I'm crossing the street, and I remember there was a street lamp. I don't see any street lamps on this street, just telephone poles. And oh no, there is a street lamp right there. Yeah, so it was like that. But you can see that one. And the light was on because it was dark, and it was the fall. Yeah, it was the fall. It was November. And so I crossed the street, and the lamp's on my right, and this is kind of the key factor, I would say, in what could have prevented it. And that is, I was looking at my phone, and I was looking down at on my phone, wasn't paying attention to my surroundings. This car coming. Wasn't paying attention to my surroundings, and just looking at my phone, and all of a sudden I feel this, someone's walking up, and they start slowing down. So I look up, and I just felt this weird energy. So I was like, okay. And he's kind of walking towards me, so I kind of walked to the left to get out of his way a little bit. And this was like right as I was crossing, and I had crossed by now. Crossing the barrier of the street light, he spun around and just gave me a haymaker, basically a sucker punch haymaker. And I just felt my, bell ring, and I didn't know what happened. I turned to my left, and there was like a group of people, like 3 or 4 5 people. I can't remember. 4 to 6. And I was like, oh, shoot, I'm about to get jumped by a gang. But nothing happened, and then I turned to my right, and I don't see anybody. I mean, there's people across the street, but I turned to my right, and there's a guy way down. At this point, he's probably 40 yards away at this point. Probably from here to the cherry blossom tree. You can see that. Yeah, just, that white truck, I'd say, even. Probably not even that far. So he was moving. So he kind of like, so he whacked me, essentially. My bell rings, and he just took off. And if he would have kept, coming at me, I don't know. I mean, I would have fought back, obviously, because I was like, but he also had the element of surprise. And that's the thing about dangerous situations like that is you're always on the defensive, and you're always gonna have the element of surprise working against you. And I'm gonna start walking again, guys. You always have the element of surprise working against you. So, something to consider. So, I kind of come to a few seconds later. Maybe, I don't even know. Probably wasn't even that long. Maybe 15 seconds later, I come to it, and, because I did get my bell rung, and I was like, in slow motion. And he wasn't a very big guy. He was about my height, maybe a little shorter, maybe a little taller, about my height, but he was slighter. And I could tell he weighed less. And if he was like a big guy, he would have knocked me out, no doubt, because I was not paying attention at all. So yeah, I paid for my inattention, and it's definitely a lesson I learned, because I thought that I was safe where I was, and you shouldn't take your health for granted, your safety for granted. It's just something to learn about being vigilant when you're out and about in public, because there's always, even if it is a small threat, there's always a threat of danger to some degree. But continuing my story, so I came to, and there was only 2 guys kind of standing in front of me. Everyone else had dipped, of course. Who's going to help you in that sort of situation? And that's the thing, too, people don't realize, is that if you're in public and someone jumps you, no one's coming to your aid, more than likely. Like, if you're in that sort of situation, where are we going? Are we going left or right? Okay, it's busy over there. Let's keep going this way. Let's cross the street so we can get some sunlight. Let me switch hands. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, if you get jumped and there's a group of people around you, none of who know you, they're not going to help you, more than likely. There might be one good Samaritan among them, but you shouldn't count on that. Anyways, I come to, and there's only 2 guys there, and they're asking me, "Hey man, you okay?" I was like, "Yeah man, I'm good. And I was like, what happened? Where did he go? He's like, "He ran off that way." And I was like, "Oh shoot." But at the time, I wasn't even thinking that. I was so out of it, and not in a state of mind that should, that is conducive for being aware. They're like, "Yo, you should probably just go home, man." I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So, I was like, "I'm just gonna order food." So, I didn't even DJ that night, because I should have, and I regret it. But I got a black eye, swollen, swelled up. It looked really weird. And so I went home, and I didn't think to call the police right away, right there. And even if I did call them, the chances of them catching, I don't know. If I were to call them, you got to call them right away, right? If something like that happens, because time is everything. I'll let this car go. So I did call him later when I got home, soon after I got home, which I probably called him 15 minutes later. Hold on, I gotta get my mask on, guys. Okay, so as I was saying, the 5-0, about 15 minutes later, right after I got home, they came, they took a statement, and I told them what happened, and they asked me what race that I thought the assailant was. Fucking hate it when cars do that. I just wish they would drive sometimes, like just go and just like make it easy on me. I don't know. I guess it's polite of them. I do appreciate that, but most of the time I just prefer them going first, and because I don't know what kind of driver they're gonna be, you know. So they asked me what race I thought the assailant was. I said black or Mexican. And the reason I said that is because I felt uncomfortable saying only black, to be honest with you, because I'm pretty sure it was black. And, I mean, he could have been Mexican, but his hair, in terms of his color, but his hair looked like black to me. It could have been a mix, though. I don't know. I really didn't see his face. But I only saw the back of him, but that was my impression, that it was a young male youth of that particular ethnic/racial background. And here's the thing, too, about UW-Madison. UW-Madison is the biggest university in Wisconsin. For those that don't know, University of Wisconsin. And they have this thing for students. I don't know if they do anymore or if they call it something different now, but it's basically from the UW Police Department that they release news updates about crime that has happened on campus, so students are aware of possible threats. Like, I remember one night, I actually was studying in college library, and apparently some white guy with a knife was in the area between College and Memorial, and I don't know, I guess he was brandishing the knife, from what I recall. I never saw anything, but there, you know, weird stuff like that, or like drunk people getting in fights, and like there was this huge case in, I think it was in between my junior year and my senior year. Hello. This kid called, well, I'm not going to say his name because, I mean, if you want to find out his name, you can. It's not that hard. He was, I guess, sexually assaulting multiple women on campus. That guy looked like a cowboy, didn't he? And I don't know, he had like a diary, like a rape diary, kind of. A lot of weird. Let's go right. A la derecha. You know, so stuff like that. And it was called Badger Beat. Badger Beat. So it was like Badger Beat Cop. and here's the beat on the street kind of thing, what's going on in the world of crime on campus, thefts, etc. I think you guys get the picture, but you guys and girls, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen, hello. Just another day on the block. So this Badger beat, they never mentioned the fact that I got assaulted on campus. It was on campus. And they never said anything. I never saw one email that said, oh yeah, by the way, this guy, he battered somebody on Langdon. Nothing of the sort. Why? Do we know why? I don't know. I mean, I have an idea. I have an idea why, but it's just speculation. Look, my question is this. Look at this. We gotta fix this problem in America, people. Fucking ridiculous. Anyways, what if my assailant was Caucasian male? Do you think it would have been on the Badger beat then? That's my only question. So it never shows up on the Badger beat. But it turns into a cool story. And my only regret is that I didn't DJ that night. But it's all good. I got to DJ a lot more shows, so it wasn't the end of my DJing career. So, lessons. Situational awareness. Prevention, as I said, is the best medicine in this case, okay? Don't live somewhere that's dangerous. If you can't. Or if you can, excuse me. But what if I hadn't been looking at my phone? What then? Probably wouldn't have happened. Eye contact is huge. Nonverbal communication. So I'm pretending you guys looking right in your eyes, right? Eye contact deters a lot. In the wild, predators, like dog packs, they never look each other in the eyes. They communicate by sniffing each other, rubbing against each other. Cats too, like lions. Hello. They don't look each other in the eyes. Humans are the only mammals, as far as I can tell, that do this regularly as part of their communication. And there's this idea that the reason our eyes have whites to them rather than being entirely black like chimpanzees and other apes, with the exception of the blue-eyed lemur, which is a really awesome animal. People should go look. Actually, I might edit in a picture of a blue-eyed lemur just for the fun of it when I'm doing my editing. Yeah, so right here's a picture of a blue-eyed lemur. So the idea is the reason we have whites in our eyes is so it's easier to see where people are looking, because the eyes are the windows to the soul, right? But the hands are the windows to the intent. So that's another thing too. Is there somebody who makes you feel uncomfortable when you're in public? You're in a situation, maybe at night. Which another thing too is, how many of these bad situations happen after midnight, right? Out in the dark. I mean, look at this. I know we're in the middle of a pandemic, but it's I don't even know what time it is. It's the middle of the day. I feel super safe. But, there's a reason that only certain animals are nocturnal. Humans can't see in the dark. So eye contact is big. Especially if you're a male. And it's different for females, because if you're a female, what I've noticed is, and it usually works, is if you don't want a guy on the street or wherever to approach you, you tell him that non-verbally, and you don't make eye contact with him, most of all, right? So, but if you're a man and you show weakness, like in prison, a predator is going to pounce on that, in prison or out of prison. I'm going to go this way. And eye contact is big with that. Just hold their gaze. Breathe deeply. Breathe slowly. And just having that confidence, deters a lot of potential situations. So, situational awareness. Eye contact. Nonverbal communication in your, in how you carry yourself, right? So not looking like. Another thing too is, speaking of nonverbals, I read this awesome book. It's called, what is it? Oh, it's called What Everybody Is Saying. And it's by this ex-FBI guy. Awesome book. I've read it twice, actually. Highly recommend people check it out. And talks about eye contact and nonverbals. Anyway. But what does Mr. Miyagi say? The best defense is to not be there. So don't be there. If you do have to fight, and I'm talking to guys here, because if you're a female, if you're a woman, you do not want to get in a fight. And that's the thing too, is I saw this guy who used to be a mugger, and he was given advice on how to avoid it. And you know what he said? He said he actually targeted men more because they wouldn't scream, they wouldn't yell or say fire or anything, because they want, I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but when he would try to mug women, they would scream. And so he learned to prey on men, actually, in terms of mugging, which is a bit counterintuitive, no? So women kind of know instinctively to scream, right? If they get in that situation, or run, and that's the same for guys too. Best defense is to run and get out of there. You got nothing to prove. If you're not in prison, just walk away. You don't have to duel. It's not ancient Japan, samurais, or the Wild West, or Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton getting in a quarrel because they're children. So you just walk away if need be. Run away if need be. And another thing too, since I mentioned UW-Madison, is we have to mention alcohol and its role in, the car is just on, its role in these sorts of situations. I think it's understated. I think it's underrated. I think it's rarely blamed as much as it should be. And I think there should be a greater emphasis on the dangers of drinking alcohol, particularly drinking alcohol in excess. And I say this as someone who has people on both sides of my family that abuse this, so it's something I've seen growing up. I mean, you see it in your friends' houses, you see it everywhere, and nobody really talks about, because everyone, I don't even know what it is. It's just like a socially accepted drug, right? Whereas marijuana is becoming more socially accepted to the point where Americans are just getting sick of it being illegal. I'm taking my mask off now, guys. It's too hot. I'm taking my sweatshirt off too. So it plays a role in not only situations where people are getting robbed, but I think sexual assault too. It plays a huge role that nobody seems to want to talk about because of the politically salient nature of that issue, right? And also because alcohol is such a socially accepted drug, more so than any other psychoactive drug, except maybe coffee, right? So alcohol, any sort of drug, right, impairs your ability to be in a fight or flight mode, or just aware mentally. Well, that's pretty aware mentally of things that are going around you're a person, what other people may be thinking or doing based on how they're behaving. And you don't have to be paranoid, but 50 Cent talks about a healthy sense of paranoia, especially after a dangerous situation has happened to you once or more than once. And I have other stories I can share in the future, but prevention is key. So just to review: situational awareness, body language, make sure body language is on point, be aware of your situation. Your state of mind is affected by anything you put in your body, food or substance. So in terms of being in a fight or flight mode, ready to do that, being drunk or being high is not conducive for that state. So keep that in mind as well. Where you live, god damn it, I dropped my water and my apple. That's sad. Where you live, macro. Where you are, micro. These factors affect your level of current danger too. And just learning about other people's experiences being in dangerous situations too. So that's pretty much my experience and the story of me getting jumped on Langdon in college. Could have been a lot worse than it was. Fortunately, all I got was a mild, slight concussion and a black eye, some swelling. But all in all, I was totally fine, which was good. But I learned an important lesson of paying attention to your situation and being mindful. So once again, I just want to remind people that I will be doing a Pepsi Watson IPP Diaries reperformance on his incarceration, and I will be talking with Dr. Paul Cottrell soon as well. I think I'm gonna make more videos about college, university, for any young people. Obviously that won't apply to some of you, but just talking about my experience in Madison and other stuff too. So Paul Cottrell coming soon, collab. I'll be on his War Room. Pepsi Watson IPP Diaries coming soon. And yeah, just enjoy your freedom, guys. Don't let the government take this too far wherever you are, but don't behave irrationally and panicky. Look at that, it's beautiful. People just in the park. See that? It's great. People on their bikes. Alright guys, I think this video is long enough. Enjoy your freedom. Addy Ads, Anakin Skywalker, YouTube's chosen one out. Ciao ciao, tutti.